Greetings and salutations, and I got it fixed. I can now play some more Ashes of Creation. Now, yes, I did start the Ranger the other day, and I didn't really play it, and I've never really played a Ranger much, so we're gonna just kind of fool around with it, see what we can do. I don't know. Like I said, I've never really played it, so we're just gonna have some fun. Okay, well, it seems to be rather interesting. I mean, with the short bow, it seems to be pretty good. I mean, it seems to be a little bit quicker than the mage for sure. Like, the mage had some serious survival issues early on. Hmm. Okay, Ranger seems to be pretty cool in terms of like being able to keep things at bay. Now, mind you, you do start with the splintered longbow instead of this, which is the adventurer's shortbow. But you can find that up there. There's a adventurer's weapon for like every other class. You get the shortbow just in case. It doesn't sell for anything, so you can't capitalize off of it and try to abuse that mechanic, like loot a whole bunch of them and then vendor them to the closest vendor. It doesn't work. But the whole point of getting those, I kind of like that they have that as an option, and having that as an option can say, well, we're like this. Yeah, the longbow is a slower attack speed, a little bit more damage, some penetration rating, whatever that does, because apparently doesn't go. Maybe it goes through armor. Don't know.
You're in one. You'll find it just north of us here.
And the reason I say I don't know is because they don't have. And this is something that this game could use, and it is a critique I will give it. This game could definitely use a form of pointing out like what this means. 29. Let me move my head here. 29 physical power rating. Okay, so 29 physical power, meaning if the enemy has an armor class, it's going to do what? 29 minus whatever the armor class is? Doesn't explain it. 4 physical penetration rating. Maybe it penetrates armor, hard telling. And 4 strength. What good does strength do? You highlight strength. Each point of strength provides physical power. Okay, physical critical. Cool. Let you know. But it doesn't say what any of this stuff does. So the weapon, you get physical power rating. Okay, so 29 physical power rating goes here. It gives you extra damage on physical. Tutorial. So Ashes of Creation people, a tutorial would do well. Pointing out physical power rating goes to the physical offense, and then you can figure out, tell us what the calculation is. Don't just say, well, it's whatever. Because here it just says base 0. Really? But I'm wearing something that gives me 29. Why is the base 0? It's not. And then you get the extra rating, which is 9.11, gives you a 9 total damage. Okay. You go to magical offense, shows you how much magical offensive rating is. Well, there are mage things where you pick up something that gives you magical offense rating and your damage on your spells doesn't increase hardly at all. So what then? They don't really explain it, and it's like, can we get some clarification? I mean, it doesn't have to be something massive, just a little tiny, footnote that says, "Hey, if you get X amount of this, your damage goes up by 1 point." So like with physical power rating, if you say gets you 70 physical power rating gives you 1 point of damage. Now you have a goal to aim for on to how to increase your damage. Right? Just a little framework, a little bit of guideline would help. Would go you you'd end up seeing tons of people being like, oh, okay, I get it now. I need to do this to increase my character's stats to make it worthwhile. Now, would it increase their critical effect? No. If they want to increase their crit or their attack speed, those are different things. Sure. Let that be known too. You'll see build diversity come out of it. Chances of them actually doing that though, or taking some sort of like
Have you achieved excellent? Let it be known that even as we struggle to
like if me giving an idea, do I really think it's going? Do I really think they're going to listen? No. Let's be real here. They're not gonna listen to me at all. I mean, I wish they would. I really do. Because, you know, when it boils down to it, you kind of want that sort of feedback. It's not really a bug, so you can't really put it in, like, bug feedback. Which, I mean, wish there was a place that you could drop suggestions. Maybe the forums. Maybe I could actually go to the forums and check it out. Wait, is this? Nope. I thought maybe that was a metalworking station. But no, there's a lot of things that this game could use in terms of, like, guidance. But for the most part, I think it looks great. I think it runs pretty good considering, 2080 Ti and everything. Just needs a little bit of help here and there. And I think once it gets it, this game's really going to be something to write home about. But yeah, granted, it's still an alpha, so maybe I could check their forums or check their Discord or something and then put in an idea or a submission. Because a mild tutorial about how the stats work and everything would be great. Even if it's just a thing that pops up that says, hey, this is how the stats work in Ashes of Creation. And then it tells you, what you have to do and what you have to go through, so on and so forth.
Have you brought its crew? Nah, 5 of them.
But that's how I view it. I mean, I like the idea of being able to have, it's like more of like a open sandbox game. And of course, with the servers only being up like 4 days a week, it does put a damper on being able to actually play the game more often. But at the same time, I can understand why they're doing what they're doing. Like, imagine having the ability to keep the servers up 24/7, right? That takes a lot of investment and a lot of time and a lot of energy. And then you'll end up having things get lopsided.
Have you brought the blocks?
If one guild gets too strong, for example, like they start not really getting most of the territory, but they have all the power rests with one federation or guild. If that happens, you're going to have kind of an issue that they had in what's it called? Eve. Eve Online had something like that happen.
We'll provide you with a whole set of tools. Near quality, but
And you don't want that sort of imbalance. Then again, you can't force the balance either. The only thing you could do, and this is going to be what makes this game like a unique or a somewhat unique thing, is when you play a game like this, or like Eve. Pardon me. It's been a long day today. played Magic the Gathering earlier and whatnot. And it's just been no. When you get a game where you have players, and the players run the economies, and the players run places, things that occurred in say Archeage, right? You had people owning the largest portion of stuff, and it became nearly impossible to get ahead of the game, so to speak. And in this and in Eve, you have people that, if you're good enough, you can convince the players to betray and backstab and then fight against the other federations, or just be downright ne'er-do-wells and skullduggers. You could do that if you've got the gift of the gab, or if you've got a way to convince them that it's better if this happened this way. Now, there's a lot of people that would be like, no, that's not what you need to be doing, etc., so on and so forth. Okay, well, if you did that, if you kept it as is, and you kept the status quo, the power would be lopsided. However, if you were to say betray other people or convince them to betray other people, you would have a more interesting dynamic on the server. Not saying that people should go that route and do that, I'm just saying that they can. Because when you have a system like this where everything is player run, then that right there, you have to basically convince the players to make things interesting, instead of making it so that you pander to the developers. Instead of just pandering to the developers. Wow. Instead of pandering to the developers and having them try to do something, you just say, hey, we could really use, let's say, more competition or more excitement on the server. You have to create that yourself on this. It's not something that it's not up to the developers to do. It's more or less up to the players to figure it out. And that makes it for a much more interesting game. Yeah, I like the other bow quicker. I like the quicker bow for sure. Yeah, we're gonna put that quicker bow on. Well, that wasn't my kill. Oh well. These dead bodies? No, they're not. They're Glooby Pross. That tree's just rolling away. That's not even a timid raven. That's just a raven. Oh, it has to be just regular ravens. It can't be timid ravens. Wow. Resonant weapon, and that thing just absolutely dominated. Oh, the burning damage did me in. That was interesting. I do like that the buffs persist through death. That's really cool. That I do like. Because it's like an aura, and it kind of makes sense. You know, I hate having something like you click it and it's there for, 10, 15 minutes and then it's gone. I don't like that. You know, it's like, I'm imbued with it, accuracy's increased. Cool. I like that. Oh, he's dead. I got a goblin ooznog. No idea what a goblin ooznog is, but I got one. I need the goblin rock pouches though. Wow, that mark really increases the accuracy, and I'm guessing damage done. Still got a dull glint and a petrified twig. So let's see what we got now. Lead or snared? Ooh, I like snare. Stamina. Maybe I should do that for the dodging. Who knows? So what do I want? Headshot, do physical damage to target enemy. 25% more below 50% of their maximum health applies 1 stack of wounded. For each 25% missing, 25% missing health. Physical penetration increased by 25% against dazed targets. That's not snared. This bonus doubles against silenced targets. Disengage. Backflips. Shoots him. That applies, and I get acquired 1 stack of snare. Scattered shot. Wait. Toggled ability. Enemies hit by your finishers, extended finishers, salvo, or scatter shot becomes snared. Power shot. 25 focus and does not consume focus when dealing damage. Hunt of the Tiger. We're gonna go with the power shot, I think. Ooh, 15-second cooldown with refreshing headshots, kind of cool. We're gonna go with power shot, though. We're gonna see what we can do with this. Well, that was a waste. I love how you can hear the distant combat. So, like, if you're playing a rogue, you could be stealthed and then hear the distant combat and be like, oh, wait. I could be advantageous and do what I shouldn't do as a rogue. I was gonna say, you snared the target. Well. Goblin Rump Scratcher. Wow. Why am I not getting the other quest items? The rock, what are they called? Are these guys that even drop it? I think so. Yeah, loot goblin rock sacks from throwers. Oh. It's because I'm not killing the throwers. I'm killing the creepers. Okay. I'll tell you right now, though, 100%, the Bard is very, very strong. An airline. I have no idea what that is. Oh, Z is like free look. Oh, okay, cool. But yeah, the bard to me is very strong in the beginning. It might, I guess, it might become weaker later on, or maybe they want the support characters to feel stronger in the beginning. Because if you think about it, clerics should feel stronger in the beginning. So should bards, because you're going to want to, from the perspective of somebody that's played MMOs, and I've played quite a few of them. I have played Guild Wars 2, Age of Conan, played World of Warcraft. I've played this. I've played EVE Online. I've played Archeage. I've played Lost Ark. I've played Ion or Aeon or whatever. I've played. I haven't played Black Desert. I haven't played. There's like a couple I haven't really played, but out of all the ones I've played, what you want to do is you want to make your support classes feel stronger in the beginning, and the reason being is because you want to promote people to play them, right? And the best way to promote people to play them is by having them be strong in the beginning. And when they feel stronger in the beginning, players are more likely to play them. I mean, if you really think about it, right? You start out, and in the beginning, you're just basically overpowered. You run over all the simple stuff. You run over all the simple quests. Nothing really stands in your way, and you just dominate. Yeah, your power plateaus off quicker later on, but when it plateaus off, by then you're looking at I thought it auto-mounted. I don't know why. When it plateaus off, you just kind of you are equivalent to other people. Now, personally, I like the Rogue. I played the Rogue previous. I really enjoyed it, and it's probably going to be my go-to. Right? It feels strong in the beginning because you can just come up behind people and stealth. You can use stab and it does a backstab damage. It's really good. So it really makes for, I would say, an interesting like play style, right? But the Rogue doesn't feel as overpowered as the Bard does. As you play the Rogue, you can get in over your head really quickly, right? You can, you pull more than one thing, and you're pretty much gonna die as a Rogue. Pretty much. Same thing can be said for, say, a fighter or a tank. You pull more than one thing, you're gonna get in over your head. You're most likely gonna die, right? Bards, clerics, no. You can pull 2, 3 things. You can still do it, and it's because you have a heal button, and that heal button is extremely powerful in the early game. I mean, extremely powerful. That doesn't mean that it's so busted that you have to worry about it, because it's not. It's like I said earlier, it balances out in the late game, right? Because eventually the power level of clerics and the power level of bards will wane, and even if you get to the point where you're like, you know what, you feel like your character's getting weaker. Yeah, you get your secondary class at 25, and it gives you some supplemental damage or maybe some supplemental healing or something like that. It might get the class to feel better, post 25. It might get them to feel overpowered again at 25. I think in the late game, I think it'll balance out. I think it'll definitely level off, for sure. Well, I didn't want to pull another one. Oh, he's a level 3. Sorry, pup. Had to happen. You can always sit down, too, and just regenerate health. That's the other thing I like. Whereas, like, you can see your physical regeneration up here come in as a buff for resting, and you get an additional 2 health and 1 mana per second. So you can see where your character is getting a benefit by taking that break. Not so in other games. That's kind of cool. Now, I didn't really play the warrior all that much. Not the warrior, I should say, the fighter. I did play the tank more than I played the fighter. Mostly because the tank seemed a little bit more fun to play. The fighter felt, in my hands anyway, kind of ham-handed, but that's me, so... The tank felt like if you were... Is that all? Oh, no, one more. The tank felt like if you were actually playing the class the way it was intended, that you could be a complete menace, for sure. But you're durable, but that durability is very limited. As it... I don't know, it just feels like it becomes very, very limited. These ravens, they do count. I'm totally gonna do headshot. Ooh, wait, I got a new ability. Camouflage. Huh. Don't know why it attacked me, but... Hit it with a snare? Hit it with a snare? No? No snares? Oh, Snare Dream is dead, I guess. Barrage. Fires a continual barrage of arrows at your target. 1.5 seconds, dealing 15% physical damage per arrow. Each hit against bleeding targets reduces the cooldown of the ability by 1.1 seconds. Double this bonus against hemorrhaging targets. Okay, so let's go back here to the bleed type. Yeah, let's confirm those choices. Yeah, sure, we'll do that. That seems very nice. So we'll go with Barrage. This seems like fun. Actually, we'll hit respec and we'll put in the Headshot and Barrage. There we go. Because the power shot seems fine, but like it seems to me like if you're not using, if you've got some health already chipped off of your target. Okay, that was a little. Well, that's interesting. Okay, so Rangers seem to be a little bit strong. Barrage. Okay, Barrage seems a bit broken. I'm not gonna lie, Barrage seems a bit broken. I could be. I mean, it could, like I said, it could balance out later on. It could level off. At the very least, Headshot does the same amount of damage as Power Shot, but Headshot does more damage on an injured target. So that's always a plus. Okay, yeah, Barrage. Yeah, the level 1 targets, I guess, but still seems very strong. Just because it's the rate of fire and the damage going in, it just. Okay, that's interesting. Now, is this like full-on stealth? Enter a form of stealth, becoming very difficult to see, especially when not moving. Other characters may detect you based on their perception of your stealth level, as well as your distance and angle to them. Your allies will always be able to see you. Okay, so like camouflage functions as like a pseudo stealth. What? I attacked the Reckless Outlaw. I think it was actually the Kalar guard that came over and smashed it in the face. That's what I think. So let's see, level 3, and I have to do slay ravens, so I need to find some ravens still. Ravens don't seem to drop anything. That seems like kind of like a ripoff, you know what I mean? They don't drop, glint, they don't drop anything. They just... They give you the bird, literally. Like, you sit there and you try to... You might be thinking, well, I gotta kill them and get the dull glint and everything to farm and get some money. No, not these birds. They're just like, nah, they give you the middle finger and they just kind of walk away. Now, there is ravens that fly around that are, like, green or, like, neutral in color, and I don't quite understand what they're for. They've got that little target icon next to them, and I don't understand that. Maybe that's like taming them because there's a thing called a falconer later on, so maybe that's it. I don't know. So let's see. Silence goblins, yeah. Sweating your brow. I didn't take the one at the lumber mill, did I? I did not. So far, I think that the ranger levels much quicker than the mage. Even though the mage can get like the long cast Thunderstrike, I think the ranger levels a lot quicker. I think the rogue was the fastest because you could just stealth out and just find whatever mob you wanted to kill. And when you stab them from behind, you take that advantage buff that you have, and it applies it as almost a guaranteed critical strike every time. So that seems kind of it's very strong for what it is in the beginning. I don't know if it's going to be extremely strong later on. So where's my character? He just kind of vanished. Well, these alpha problems are nice. There I am. Boy, alphas, they've got their own little issues, don't they? Well, that's way over there. Oh wait, that's the ambush caravan. There you go, buddy. Figured I'd help you out. I need... Not the creepers. I need the other one. From the rock throwers. There, I'll go camouflage. Maybe I can... These are sickly goblins. Seers... Wait. Sickly goblins all the way up through there. So how do I get back behind those gates? Maybe up and around? That's possible. Maybe around through here. Ah, there is an open spot. Let's see. Hey. Barrage seems to work really well. These are just sickly goblins. I need rock throwers. Where are they? Humanoid bits of Terminator farm suggests KLR soldier. Sucks to be him, I guess. Armor fragments. Wow. Goblin hilts. I don't want a goblin's hill. Nobody wants a goblin's hill. I need rock throwers. Where are they? Maybe they're over on the other side, behind the gate. Don't know. Hard telling. Jeez, I've been playing this 42 minutes. Doesn't feel like 42 minutes. Yeah, see, look at this. Chunk is just destroying things. Like I said, they feel like tanks feel better to play than fighters. That's the truth. 100% God's honest truth. They feel better to play. Obviously, it's up to the player's discretion and proclivities. But if it's like if you want to play a fighter, okay, play a fighter. I'm just saying, tanks feel better to play. They feel more durable. They feel like they do a bit more damage than a fighter. Hard telling who does more actual damage, but it just feels like they're doing more damage on the on tanks. That's all. Well, nope. Not today, dirtbag. I'll take that healing salve. We're going to try to sneak up there again. Try to get in there and get our rock throwers. I don't think it's going to happen, but we're going to try. Well, that was nice of him to just kind of leave me in the lurch. You're a bard, man. Toss me a heal, brother. He could have. I mean, it's not that hard. You gotta micromanage, that's all. I mean, you can get rations. at certain places, and I believe it's back in Lion's Hold you can actually get rations. When you get the rations, they're pretty good. They're pretty cheap too, from what I remember. Alright, so it says I'm here with where the gravel throwers are. The rock throwers are, I should say. There's no... Those are sickly goblins. Those are sickly diggers. Are they underground, maybe? No, this is just a hole in the ground. I thought maybe they might be. I'll make the dude look like a pincushion. That's a plus. Lost his best brigade, the Boneyard Brigade. Without him, he cannot stop the rain of rocks being hurled by the goblins on the ramparts. He's being any settler. He could join the rock sacks holding down the gob's crude ammo. It says from throwers, but there's no throwers. If there was goblin throwers, I'd be able to do it. Well, at any rate, we're gonna end our little excursion today with the ranger here. And I'll be honest, I like the ranger. It's fun. He's got quite a bit of power for what he is early on. I think in the first couple of levels, it's a little struggle. But once you get Barrage, it's much easier. I still like, in terms of playing enjoyment level, Rogue, Bard, Tank, Mage, Ranger, Cleric, right around the same for the Cleric, and then underneath that's Fighter. I mean, Fighter just felt very clunky. But maybe I was doing it wrong, because the Fighter was... Like, I played the Rogue first, I made a Fighter, tinkered around with the Fighter for like 5 minutes, 6 minutes. Wasn't much, and it just felt off. Like, it felt like it didn't flow. Like, his weapon swings were too slow, and it just took forever. I don't know, it felt different. So, I don't know. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, because I enjoyed it. This game is fun. I need to play it more off camera, and I just have not been able to do so. Like I said, I have been very busy. I've been uncovering a 25-year-old sidewalk out in front of my house that we put in 25 years ago. It's been through a few floods, and it's buried. And so I've been doing a lot of that. It's got 25 years of established grassroots structure in it. That's been a lot of the physical stuff, and just because of the recent flood we had, we've been doing a lot of yard work and a lot of stuff outside. So it's been, my amount of time that I've had to play games has been diminished quite a bit. I do get this time, now and again to make videos, and I'm not gonna not make videos unless the power goes out or the internet goes out or something, and it's out for like days. I'm gonna put a video up every single day. Even if I do a vacation, I'll have a video up for the entire day for every single time I go to for every day I'm on vacation. Every single day. So if I ever go on vacation, you'll never even know that I was on vacation until I get back. I won't even mention it until I get back. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoy seeing the game for what it is. It looks beautiful, and a lot of people like to give Unreal Engine some serious, like, oh, no wonder it chugs. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm not really seeing that big of a frame rate dip, and I'm recording. And, you know, I'll go to my game options, go to video, you know, windowed full screen. I don't even have to do it windowed full screen. I can do it full screen. But anyway, low latency mode disabled. Frame generation I don't need. Set up for quality, set up for high. Everything is listed as high. And this is on a, 2080. 2080 Ti. Sorry, 2080 Ti. It looks beautiful. And I don't get a whole lot of frame rate chug. Some games just don't work well with Unreal, and I think it's just based on the development company more than anything else, personally. But I hope everybody enjoyed this. I hope everybody has a fantastic evening, a wonderful tomorrow, and as always, have a good one.